Hello, hello, hello. It is the D. We are playing with the D. We are watching these realms, and I think I woke up a winner. Vault in the Sands. My ranking, numero uno. Let's go ahead and claim those 5 summon crystals as well as the 10 pyro shards. Love to see it. Hope you guys are doing well. I am doing fantastic, and we are well on our way to lordship. Do you think I wasn't going to cut for the video? I made that video for a reason. So, a little bit of energy here from the hero training because, as expected, I did slip in that ranking quite a bit. 15k and 13k is a lot for a lower tier bracket. That's for sure. Forgotten Palace, I believe this is Gear Raid 3, so we'll be doing a little bit of Gear Raid 3 to make sure that we get our Pyro Shards for that. So speaking of which, where are we in the shard count? 40. 40 shards, and we should be fine. Kaneza comes to town. Good morning. What do we got? Okay, this one's a battle. Not interested in doing that at the moment. If you logged in today, you have seen that things are dwindling down for the next couple of days, but they will fire right back up on Thursday, baby. Thanksgiving events will start in terms of the scroll exploration and the Thanksgiving market, and then a new Brave Conquest will start on Thursday as well. Friday is when all of the summoning begins, and speaking of summoning, we've got information on 2 more of the legendary lords. Drummer of the Damned, Demi, AoE burst damage and anti-healing, so you get another anti-healer like Lasir. He is no longer the only one in the game that can do it, but he is the more accessible one in the game that can do it. And then you have the Conqueror Cyrus, an AoE DPS lord with summoning capability. This guy's got a pretty cool kit, and I've got a tickle in my throat, and it's bothering me. Tough morning. Lots of rain. Lots of stuff going on, things distracting the D. Anyway, we are now in possession of a fully promoted Regulus, so I'm hoping that things kind of increase there. We have an A5 Wrath now, thanks to Saturday's login bonus, so everything is good there. I used one of my Epic Awakening Stones to get an A1 Greed, which if you have not done that yet, I highly recommend it because he's going to increase your basic attack's chance of triggering special effects by 10%. I had to take a second and step away again. So anyway, as I was saying, if you're fortunate enough to have an A1 Greed, he's going to increase your basic attack chance of triggering special effects by 10%. And 2 special effects are triggered alternately. I don't believe I did much else. Yeah, just some promotions and whatnot, just to try to squeeze out any points I could. Nothing major on the hero side. But let's take a look at the new heroes, speaking of which. I really enjoyed doing that yesterday, so let's take a look at Demi and see what we got, and we'll take a look at Cyrus and see what we got. How about that? Let's see. So we're going to go ahead and start with Demi. Demi. I'm going to say that it's Demi just because of Demi Moore. Who is Demi? She is a legendary cultist lord. She is the drummer of the damned. The dark music master who plays the cursed melody. Her tunes are a whirlwind of madness and destruction, bringing chaos to all who hear them. Multi-target attack, burst damage. She also does a little bit of effect. Gains invisibility permanently as a talent, but reduces max HP by 35% during battle. Additionally, gains specialized attack speed. What does that do? Provides a greater reduction in attack interval based on the attack speed attribute. This means that if you boost her attack speed for 300 points versus a different hero that you burst for 300 points on attack speed, she's going to have a faster interval than the other one because of her specialized attack. She's ambidextrous on them bongos. So, what do we got? Magic attack. This basic attack always inflicts slow upon up to 6 enemies in range, and you can maximize that up to 10 targets, and it will be a 50% slow for 2 seconds. So every time she hits, up to 10 enemies inflicted with slow. I mean, I can see all sorts of places where I would use that. And she appears to be a mage with a range similar to Dolores. It does not change. I don't believe she could be placed on the ground, which is what I was about to mistakenly say. But she does not boost her range at all. She will max out at 4,300 base attack, but her attack speed is irrelevant right now because those will be boosted by stats. So, what else do we got? Before we go into the ultimate, let's skip to the Lord skill. Forbidden Knowledge 3. Increases faction allies' basic attributes by 15%. That's boilerplate. Increases faction allies' damage dealt to enemies inflicted with stun, freeze, immobilize, and other control effects like slow by 30%. When faction allies kill an enemy, increases their damage by 12% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. So she does slow all the time, so you're pretty much going to be increasing your allies' damage by 30% almost all the time, as long as she's on the field. Twilight Covenant, passive. When invisible, reduces damage taken by 15%. During the Elegy of Ruin, this is her ultimate. Each time the hero attacks, restores 3% HP. All damage reductions scaled up to an extra 10% or an extra 2% healing percentage. Waltz of Doom, another passive. During Elegy of Ruin, every time an enemy in basic attack range dies, increases attack speed by 14, stacking up to 5 times. The effect lasts until Elegy of Ruin ends. You can stack the cap up an extra 5 to make it go up to 19. Or no, up to 10. So stacking up to 10 times. And then you can get a 20 attack speed increase. Okay. So, the ultimate. The Day of 1,000 Distractions. Okay, so Elegy of Ruin. Removes invisibility temporarily and plays the Elegy of Ruin. Basic attack deals 170% damage to at most 10 targets in range, instead inflicting slow and anti-healing on them. Okay. My brain paused for a second because the way they write some of these sometimes, god damn it. Okay. Removes invisibility temporarily and plays the Elegy of Ruin. She begins doing her ultimate. Basic attack deals 170% damage to at most 10 targets in range instead, meaning that it will boost it up to 10 whether you've got it boosted, I guess, or not. No, to at most 10, meaning that you have to have this boosted up to 10. Okay, got it now. Also inflicting slow and anti-healing on them. See, they missed small little detail. This could be boosted up an extra 100% damage to have it go up to 270% damage. You're going to reduce the skill cost down to 1,000 rage to cast. I like the idea of this hero quite a bit. Let's take a look at her awakenings. When invisible, restores 5% of max HP per second. Okay. During the Elegy of Ruin, deals 50% extra damage to targets with HP below 40%. That's a nice little nuke. And during Elegy of Ruin, if the attack speed from Waltz of Doom reaches full stacks, deals 500% OE damage to at most 10 enemies within the basic attack range for one time after Elegy of Ruin ends. It's a big nuke. So you get the opportunity to do one big nuke if you reach the full stacks of Waltz of Doom. Buckle up, kids. It's story time. I've been trying to record this with quite a few interruptions, so let's see what happens. Love the design of this champ, by the way. Like the weird rosary beads being held by the skeleton hands that are also, you know, holding the drum together and keeping everything looped around her back. Enjoy the design of her dress. Feet pics down at the bottom. She's a good looking champ. She fits the cultist vibe, and she looks a hell of a lot better than Constance. Whatever they're doing with the... Oh, this is cool. Reverse ribcage on the back. Holding her up. Alright, so. Drummer of the Damned. You ever heard of that bard whose songs turn minds to muck? You could say her music's to die for. Cut her. A few too many drinks in. Demi was always drawn to music. The daughter of bards, she never knew a silent moment. Her days were filled with song, and as she grew up, her parents endeavored to teach her the craft. But Demi lacked musical aptitude. Her voice was ill-suited for singing. She lacked an ear for tone, and rhythm was a lost cause. I relate to you, boo. Demi never gave up attempting to improve her craft, but no matter how hard she tried, she never improved. She began to spend less and less time practicing. Instead, she would haunt the edge of the village, despairing in the dark. It was during one of these nightly walks that Demi's fate changed forever. It's important to take an evening constitutional. She was humming tonelessly when someone behind her clapped. She turned to see a crooked figure in tattered robes standing behind her, wreathed in fog. Fear filled Demi, followed by a pang of curiosity, when in a thin voice that seemed to echo in her mind, the figure asked Demi what she desired most. Demi admitted that more than anything in the world, she wanted to create unforgettable music. The figure asked her what would pay for such a gift. Come on! The figure asked her what she would pay for such a gift. One more time. The figure asked her what she would pay for such a gift. Without hesitating, Demi insisted that she would pay any price. The air shuddered and the figure told Demi to go and ply her art. Late that night, Demi's parents woke to a thunderous beat. They stirred and followed the sound to its source, Demi playing her mother's drum with an unnatural speed. As the rhythm grew louder and quicker, the family began to applaud. The music bore into their minds and souls, and soon their delighted smiles gave way to raucous cackles as madness seized them. By the time the drumming ended, Demi's parents had lost their minds entirely. But Demi was not saddened. She picked up her family's instruments and set off on a journey to spread her damned music across the land. Whoa. Okay. Bad sentence aside, I was not expecting this chick to kill her parents, bro. Wow. Brutal. Brutal. That is the tale of the drummer of the damned. What a character. Killed her parents with her drum the first time she had plied her craft. Whew. Taya is a tough place. What's behind door number 2? The Conqueror Cyrus. This is an esotericist lord. Conqueror Cyrus, with mastery over the skeleton army, Cyrus vows to reclaim all that was lost. He can summon, and he has a boosted range. Talent immediately summons one skeleton warrior within 2 tiles ahead when deployed. A summon unit that possesses significant portions of the summoner hero's attributes, able to attack and block one enemy. So, what this means, if there is a person in front of him, he will spawn a skeleton in front of that person. If there is no one in front of him, he will probably spawn a skeleton in 2 spaces in front of himself. Think of it like moving a pawn on a chessboard. He is kind of like a necromancer in that he summons these skeletons, which is similar to a artifact bonus. I can't remember the name of the artifact, but there's one that summons a little shadow hero next to you that does additional damage. Elowen heals with little druid dryads that she spawns. So summoning is an aspect of the game, and I like to see more of it, and I definitely like it in a necromancy kind of way, so this is rad. So basic attack, 100% AoE damage to multiple enemies in range, skilled up to 120%, no big deal, but the AoE is nice. That's a bonus. Lord skill, Esoteric Synergy 3. Of course, you get the 15% faction allies boost. Then, reduces faction allies skill cost by 25%. When an ally is defeated or retreats, increases the damage of other faction allies by 25% for 8 seconds. This effect can be triggered 1 time every 12 seconds. So, what I was thinking with this is you use something like a Aatrox or somebody like a Dalen who you're only putting in for a little bit of time to build some cost back, and then you could take her back, and then you can also get some additional like skill cost reduction at the same time. So kind of a little bit of playing around that you could do with your heroes to make this happen. The reason why I mentioned Aatrox is that I think he could revive every 7 to 12 seconds. So you could possibly pair him with this and just constantly be pinging this this skill. Because it doesn't matter if it's a faction ally that's defeated or retreats, but it's only going to boost the faction allies by the 25%. So as long as you stack up, a team of Esotericists for Cyrus to lead, they're going to benefit profusely by just taking a piece on and off of the board. King's Wrath, passive skill. When the HP of the hero's summon is below 50%, increases its attack speed by 60 and damage by 30%. The attack speed increase can go up an extra 40 to make it 100 attack speed increase, and the damage can be increased by 20%, making it 50% damage. Lord of the Undead. This is a nice skill. 1 second. This is a nice skill. 40% of incoming damage will be absorbed by the hero's summons. I like that. When the hero receives fatal damage, one of the summons will be sacrificed to resist the damage. I like that a lot. You can increase the damage taken by the summons by up to 20%, meaning that they'll take 60% of any incoming damage. This will kill your skeletons faster, but if you build this guy with a shitload of stats, they're going to transfer to the skeletons. Bippity boppity boo, skeleton trouble for you. Okay? Legion of the Dead. Summons 1 skeleton fighter within 2 files ahead and increases their and the hero's damage by 100% and attack speed by 60 for 10 seconds. Now, the skeleton fighter is very clearly a different name than the skeleton warrior. The skeleton fighter is a summon unit that possesses a few of the summoner hero's attributes, able to attack and block one enemy. Now, this sounds the exact same. It's possible that they're the exact same and they're just using different names, but I do believe that they are actually 2 separate units. Yeah, one looks like it's got a shield in the left side. So one's got his sword in the right hand, one's got his sword in the left hand, it looks like. So they are different demons or skeletons. Let's take a look at the deets. Range is not going to change. It's got 28,000 base HP, 3,200 base defense, and 4,200 base attack, which is actually, which is actually not that bad for a tanky Charlie. So that's pretty good. Awakenings, if you're lucky enough to be super amazing. When summoning Skeleton Fighter, there's a 25% chance to summon Skeleton Warrior. Interesting. So when you do your ultimate, you have a chance to summon 2 skeletons. Because remember, the Skeleton Warrior is only going to come out upon deployment. And any additional summonings are going to happen through the ultimate. Awaken 3 summons 1 extra Skeleton Fighter when deployed. So you could start with 2 skeletons in front of you. Upon death or retreat, summons 1 Skeleton Fighter. So this is such a cool kit if you like persistent pestering. Like, just, you can take me out, but I'm going to keep putting down these skeletons whether I'm dead or not. And you're going to still have to fight them. I like that a lot. He does have a story. So let's take a look at the tale of the Conqueror, Cyrus. Now, one thing I do want to point out, and this is unfortunate, he is, very well designed. The esotericists go with the ancient Egypt type of vibe, liking all of this. But once we get down here, the underside of his cloak looks like a $20 Home Depot tarp that you would put leaves on or cover your pool with, or I don't know. Even underneath, it just looks like a basic bitch tarp that you could buy for $20 at any home and garden store. Let's work on those textures, okay? My man's not wearing the equivalent of like a garbage bag on his back. All right? Let's not do that to a lord of all people, okay? The Conqueror, Cyrus, does not wear a trash bag on his back. Okay? And really, that's all a tarp is in my mind. It's just a really big glorified trash bag that you could either cover something with or carry a shitload of stuff in and dump it somewhere. Okay? Story! The restless dead are haunted that which life denied them. Opening line of an Akkadian ghost story. The great conqueror Cyrus is believed to have died on the battlefield. He perished far from his homeland during an ill-fated push to secure control over a small northern duchy. Following his death, his army scattered and his remains were lost, never to be returned to the kingdom he fought so adamantly to expand. Though only partially true, this origin offers an explanation for the conqueror's unyielding ambition. Long after his untimely death, Cyrus awoke as a spirit bound to serve the god of the netherworld. His feats in life had earned him a place among the gods' warriors. Though Cyrus served loyally for centuries, he grew more and more restless. Visiting the frozen plains where his life was lost and his legacy cut short, Cyrus was filled with resentment. He had far more power in death than he had ever possessed as a mortal. Yet, his enigmatic god showed no interest in expanding the domain of the netherworld. What was the use in possessing so much power if not to conquer? Why serve the whims of an uncaring god when there are still lands to be taken? Cyrus grew determined to use his second unnatural life to continue the work of his first. He imagined a grand necropolis spanning all of Tyre, a domain even greater than he had built before. But first, he would need to discover a way to unseat the god of the netherworld and assume his rightful throne. All right. Should name him the Usurper. Conqueror Cyrus. Okay. He's coming on Friday. The other hero's already been out, so nothing to worry about there. I hope you guys like doing the lore. I enjoy reading the lore. I have noticed that not too many other people are doing it, so I'm going to keep going ahead, and that's going to be my thing. I'm going to do story time for y'all, and, whenever we get new heroes, we're going to check out their story, see how it links, and then, maybe we put it all together, and we kind of figure out what this story is that they're trying to tell us. Maybe we even re-narrate the voice acting for the original story because, oh my god, it's terrible. Anyway, I have been extremely interrupted today, but not without further ado. There were things taken care of. We discussed new heroes. There's a lot coming down the rest of the week, and by golly, do I hope you enjoy it. And I will see you next time. Don't forget, tune in, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You know how it is. Help the channel grow. If you've seen it a few times, press the button. It's simple, it's free, it doesn't bother anybody. And remember, like I said, keep an eye on your refresh timer. Don't want to refresh too close to the end of the timer.